Hello. I know I'm doing this very weirdly, but I'm going to do a daily vlog on this kind of style. Um, I always like retro things, so this is going to be a series of vlogs. I'm going to do it my way. But the very first thing I want to talk about is who I am as a person. Today we celebrated the life of Adam the Woo as a person. And I thought it would be appropriate if we talked about my personal connection to Adam the Woo. And I know I don't look at the camera, but I'm going to attempt to. Adam the Woo was a YouTuber on this platform we call YouTube. And I wanted to be a YouTuber, like a very good YouTuber. So I decided to do that. But I never actually, can we say, posted my face on this platform before. So I decided to try. And for the longest time, I never actually did that as a thing. And so it is now March 8th, 2026. And I'm going to, it's actually a few hours after the memorial, the celebration of life. And I'm going to talk about why I think Adam meant a lot to me. Obviously, Adam meant a lot to you, and you can tell I'm using this kind of thing. Who was Adam? I don't need to explain. Who was he? Why did I become like a vlogger in my own right? Well, that is a challenge to explain, but I'm gonna try. I think it became quite obvious that I wanted to become a vlogger myself. And I wanted to become like any other YouTuber on this platform. And so I became a YouTuber just like any other person. I wanted to become a YouTuber because I wanted to become a special content creator. And it was very obvious because I wanted to. So when we lost Adam, I was devastated. And so it was very, very, very difficult for me to accept the fact that Adam was gone. You don't connect on a very personal level to anyone more than Adam the Woo. How did I get to know Adam on a fan level and personal and actually meeting him? I'll tell you that story. So, first, it was through his videos. I got to know Adam by watching a video of him. This is 10 years ago. My God. And I was watching his videos. And I was watching YouTube. I was scrolling on my laptop. I don't have the laptop anymore. But I was watching his videos. I just moved to this current town I live in. This is almost 11 years now. And 11 years and a half. And I just moved to this town and I moved into an apartment and I was just getting settled in and I was watching this guy on YouTube and I saw him make a fool of himself. And I think you all know the video of Adam going down a slide as he's going down like on a bike and he gets thrown off. That's the video. And I was laughing my ass off. Just laughing. And I was like, who is this crazy man going down a slide going, yee? And I was like, laughing and laughing and laughing. And I didn't understand that this guy was making a fool of himself on camera. And once the bike goes down the slide, I knew that this is gonna be a good guy to watch and make myself laugh. Previously, I didn't do face reveals on my channel I just did it after I watched Adam. Previously on this on the my main channel, I just posted stories where I would write stories and set it to music. Literally, that was my first time doing content. And I didn't live here. Okay, I didn't live in this space. I didn't live here. I just did it, and that's basically how I started doing content. Now, once I got to know Adam on that basis of just being a YouTuber, I just said, okay, I'm gonna do it. Now, I kept watching Adam. I watched his journey backwards. I saw him go through doing the abandoned videos, which I realized what I saw was on his second channel, The Daily Woo. And then I saw him do abandoned videos. And then I saw him go through the banning process. If you remember the video where he explained to us that he got banned from Walt Disney World after he went into a restricted area in Hollywood Studios for about a period of 2.5 years. And then in 2015, he was allowed to come back. Actually, no, it wasn't just no. In 20, I guess in 2015 or 2018. I think it was 2018. So he was then in 2013. He was allowed to come back in a period of 2 years. So 2015, 2016, and I think it was 3 to 4 years. And I may be wrong, but I do remember him getting unbanned. You can correct me in the comments when he got unbanned. I may not be correct, but I know on Justin's channel, Justin Scar, by the way, the guy who actually spoke at this event, which he did such a good job, and I credit Justin too. By the way, um, I watched Adam's content a lot throughout moving here and understanding how what this guy was. It was from Adam that I got to know about Disney and what Disney was like on a historical sense. And excuse my brother, who Disney was and the history of Disney. So, yeah, it was Adam. Every video. And if you can't see, I'm gonna zoom in here. There's a picture of Walt Disney. I'll just come closer because that's as far as I can zoom. So, because of Adam, I got to get to know this gentleman very well. So, why do you say, Mr. You gotta say, Fabricio, why do you always attribute Adam in your videos, and why do you spend a lot of time talking about Adam, and why do you contribute a lot of your projects to Adam? Here's why. Adam was an inspiration, and because today was his celebration of life, like memorial, I want you all to understand a thing or two about Adam. When he died, or when I found out he died, I really didn't find out until like about a week later, or at least a few days after they announced that Adam the Woo is dead. And I was sitting in this room. Okay? When they announced, when I found out that Adam died, it was through the carpetbagger. Okay? And I found out that Adam had died because of that announcement. You have to understand, I was crushed. And I've been watching Adam since 2015, 20, around the time of 2015, 2016, okay? He was my inspiration. Excuse the. And I don't care what people say about, oh, you watched Adam and he's a Christian. I know that his father is a preacher. I know that Adam is a Christian that walks the path of Jesus Christ. I know, but what did Adam's father say at the memorial, at this celebration of life, is to be accepting and take chances and to be a Christian. It leads to why I loved Adam. I had heard a lot of the stories of him being friendly and loving and kind, and so that's why I adored Adam. Now, here's the story that I've been telling people on my main channel and my second channel, and this is where it's gonna go up. How I met Adam. Excuse my brother because I still live with my parents and my brother, who's loud as heck. How I met Adam the Woo. Adam the Woo has been filming his park videos. He will travel across the globe. And we know that the last few months of Adam's life, he went to Switzerland, he went to Belize, he went to France, he went to Italy, and he recently went to Disneyland Paris for the first time and the last time. This is towards the end of his life, a few months before he died. But I got to have the luckiest privilege to meet Adam by a very odd circumstance. Now, I started blogging because of Adam and, of course, his friend Tim the Tracker, and, of course, Justin Scard. These two friends of his that have channels of their own right here on this platform. So naturally, I was going to be vlogging because of them. Now I'm going slow because I have a speech impediment, so excuse me. Because of Adam, Tim, and Justin, I started doing my own vlogging, or at least attempting to do it, because I never had the correct equipment. I just had, a phone. So I started filming. When I kept going, I should say, to the Disney parks, I said, I'm going to vlog my travels across the United States, like going to Disneyland, going to every national park, or recently, 2 years ago, starting 2 years ago, correction, every presidential library across the West Coast and the East Coast and vlogging it. And my dad started doing that. So, because of me, my dad has been doing it, capturing it, and he says it's for prosperity. Well, we know why. He does it because it's for memories. And that's what vlogging is. And that's probably what Adam has been doing. He's been documenting his life, so it's a reminder of his legacy and for memories, and posting it on the second channel, the Daily Woo, and also sometimes on the main channel, not just for memories, but to keep a record of what he's been doing. So I wanted to do the same thing, and you can all agree that's what he's been doing. And I think his father said it best at the celebration of life ceremony today. So Adam inspired me to do it. This was in 20. I'm gonna go back to the story. I just want to say that because it reminded me of that. So, in 2018, me, my brother, the loudmouth outside my room, and my dad, and my mom has sadly passed away at this point. She died in 2012. But in 2018, my dad, myself, and my brother, the loudmouth outside my room, see, excuse my brother's loud mouth, uh, took a road trip down to Florida. We do it every November, December year. And so we decided I wanted to document this trip because of that. And I wanted to see if I can try vlogging for the first time. And so I did it. I documented it, I edited it, not to the extreme like Tim does. Love you, Tim. Shout out. And shout out to Justin Scard. So I did it, and I vlogged 5 days of park hopping from Magic Kingdom to Animal Kingdom, and then of course the resorts. And I did it, and somewhere on this platform somewhere, I just don't know where. It's on a third channel somewhere. I have like 6 channels. I'm not kidding. I can't access one of the channels where these videos are, so it's up there and it's on this platform somewhere. And I wanted to do it, so I spent hours filming, taking an old film camera. There's a film camera here somewhere. Not my Sony DSLR, but an old Sony, not a Sony Canon, not my Canon camera that I started using, but my old Sony I use. That thing still works. That thing still works. And I had changed phones, iPhones, so many times. Not the one that I'm using today. So I took the phone, took the camera, off I went to Disney World, and the first part that I documented was, of course, Animal Kingdom. And I was filming, and I had no idea Adam was in the same park as me. And I keep recounting this story because people seem to not understand that I was telling the truth. I swear on a bunch of Bibles that this is true. I had no idea. On November 15th, 2018, I have documents of pictures and footage. On November 15th, 2018, Adam the Woo was in the same park, same facility as I was. And I would come in contact with him. Literally, I would bump into Adam the Woo. And how it happened is that me and him were filming. And I was filming. I had my back towards the castle. I was getting a shot from Main Street, walking backwards. And I was trying not to bump into any cast members, guests, family, and then boom, I bumped into Adam. And so I bumped into him, and I decided, that's it. And I bumped into him, and I didn't know I bumped into him until I looked down at my Canon. My Sony camera bumped onto the road in between the tracks. They never did not Magic Kingdom. There's tracks where the trolley and everybody goes out. So, of course, I look up and I see Adam with that bushy beard and his long, the hair and the look. You know what Adam looks like. You've seen his videos. So I look up and I go, oh my God, Adam, my brain is short circuiting. It's like, my brain is going, it's like, Adam. And so, excuse me, there's talking. It's just loud as hell in here. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes. So Adam is above me, and I'm just scrambling to get my camera and my backpack because I have a large backpack on my back, and that's what bumped into him. And I just went butt first into the pavement in Magic Kingdom. By the way, there's a crowd of people. You know how Magic Kingdom is. It is crowded. So it's crowded. It's overtaken by people, and there's a crowd forming, and I look up, and there's Adam standing over me, and he has his hand extended, and he goes, "Are you okay?" And we all know that Adam was one of the nicest people ever. If you know anything about Adam, we know that he would help you as a content creator. If you had, and Justin and Tim would agree that if they had anything like a video idea, and I'm not starting to learn this out, but what I experienced was completely like agreeable. He was the nicest person, and from this brief interaction, all the stories that I've been learning throughout the 2 months after Matt Adams' death are correct. I completely encountered what I saw on camera is what I got in real life. A nice, genuine, caring person that looked horrified when I went down on my butt. And he extended his hand and said, "Oh my God, are you okay?" He said that. Adam never swore, by the way, in his videos. He never swore. And so he extended, by the way, that's what I've been learning from Justin and Tim and everybody else who knew him, by the way. He never swore. I have never heard him swear once in his videos as a fan, by the way. And that's very rare. And so he extended his hand and he said, "Oh my God, are you okay?" And I take his hand and he eats me up. He pulls me up. I use eat a lot in my vocabulary. He pulls me up onto my feet. And I am a little like shaken after the fall. I collapse and fall. By the way, so I'm dusting off the dust on my jean shorts, my t-shirt, and I look up and I look and Adam is tall. Okay, we all know that Adam's like somewhere between 6 feet, somewhere between that, and I may be wrong, but Adam is tall. And in photographs that I've been seeing around of his friends sharing around, he's tall. And I remember him being this tall, bushy beard. He barely shaved it, by the way. And he had, at the time, the white and red glasses with the red stripes, the white glasses with the red stripes, which he eventually broke. And he had the white and red, the white sunglasses with the red stripes, which he eventually broke. And he looked down and he said, "Are you okay?" He was checking on me to make sure I had no bruises. And I said, I was too flustered to speak. And then I finally collected myself. I told myself, "Speak. Dang it. Speak." And I said, "Yes, yes." And then I said, You're Adam the Woo." He just said, "Yep." Now, I've been learning about why Adam was so hesitant because he looked very hesitant when I said his name. And I said, in my piece, I said, I've been a fan of yours. And he said, "Well, thank you very much." Of course, uh, he loved, I heard a lot about him quoting Elvis. He goes, of course, he would do the whole horrible Elvis impression. "Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much." You know, the whole Elvis impression, which he will do the whole, "Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much." Or he'll do the whole, I don't, also recounting what he did in his videos, but in this interaction, he never did it. In this interaction, he didn't do that. He just was him. He was a friendly, and he said, I told him, "Well, I enjoy watching your videos." He said, "Thank you." And then he said, again, "Are you okay?" I said, I'm fine, thank you." We shook hands, and I didn't want to take a photo. Something you have to understand about me personally is that even though Adam is a celebrity in his own right, he's a cultural celebrity, not a mainstream celebrity. Um, I don't like bothering people. I don't like bothering people. I'm autistic, and I have a horrible case of social anxiety. That is an exception when it comes to the Disney parks. But I don't like bothering people. I hate doing that. And a lot of people are going to say, "Well, that makes the story fake." That's where my camera, the Sony, comes into play. I was filming. Remember, I told you I was filming. And when I dropped the camera, it has a monitor that opens the camera. And when you film, it says "standby" in green, STA, standby, REC, record, and it was recording our reaction, our interaction, I should say, not reaction, but interaction. That's the word. And the camera is already like 14 years old, and that's how old it was. It's about 14 years old. I got it in 2013 for a trip to Paris to meet my dad's brother in Paris. and I took the camera. I've been using this camera to film, not just my iPhone, but this camera. Before I got this, the Canon, the Canon camera that does video and takes professional pictures. So what I did was I collapsed and I take out the camera. That's what I did. But the camera was on filming, but the shutter over the camera that is turned on, that closes the camera, the lens was off. So it was recording our interaction. Now I realized, oh crap, it's recording without his consent, and I quickly closed the monitor. That turns on the camera and turns it on and off. And I just say, oh crap, in my head. I turn it off, and I put it in my in my backpack, and I don't use it for the rest of the day. Fast forward to when it's the pandemic, and I'm going through photos and everything for a trip thing that I can do for my trips to Disney World, since I was not able to go to Disney that year, or at least for the following 2 years during the pandemic. And when Disney jacked up the price, and the whole video for another day, I decided I'm gonna make a video. And so I go through the footage, and I see this blank black screen that it has a video length on it. So I play it and I hear audio. And it's me and Adam talking. And he's saying, I'm sorry. I'm saying, I'm sorry. He's saying, are you okay? So I tell myself, I need to delete this, because I uploaded this to my computer. Then I realized, wait, this is not going to harm him. This is just Adam and me, and nothing really is, really exposed. So I keep the footage, and I just keep it. Fast forward, the footage is deleted because of stupid upware services, and the laptop that I used for uploading and editing gets completely destroyed. It was a Macintosh, and those things didn't work, and this one was completely old, and I lost the footage. I lost everything. I tell the story on my main channel, but I'll just give you the cliff notes. My dad goes to take this laptop to be fixed. The guy that fixes the laptop and the internal hard drive says, "Oh, there's things on this computer. Do you think I can save it?" My dad says, "Yes." My dad gets a call later and says, the guy says, "Oh, there's things that couldn't be saved, and one of it was some photos of my mom and this video." He didn't say that, but I knew exactly what he was talking about. Some of the photos were of my mom, our time at Disney when I was about 11 to 12 years old. So I knew. Now I am filming this video at the time after like almost 5 to 7 hours after Adam's a celebration of life ceremony. And I'm doing these vlogs in a style that I like, which is the 80s VHS style, because I want to make it uniquely mine. And I was inspired by what Jim the Woo, Adam's dad, said. And I wanted to do it my way, in a way to remember Adam. I love Adam very much as a fan, but also as a person that inspired me to film. Doing daily vlogs, capturing it now, would be an absolutely incredible thing. Whenever I'm traveling, whenever I'm doing a home vlog, or capturing my author journey, me becoming an author. I want to do that. I wanted to capture my journey as an author, or just traveling, or composing. Something that Adam would have approved because he wanted to be a filmmaker. And I am an author. I write books, or at least starting to write books. But I think that was what Adam would have encouraged me to do if I ever met him properly and spent time with him and telling him what I do as a hobby. And you know what I think Adam would have said? Adam would have said, "You keep going. Keep going." And, or, Adam would have said, "Tell me more." Or he would have said in his famous intro, "Join me, shall you?" And that's what I'm going to do. I'm inviting you to join me on my travels every single day. And in doing so, I'm encouraging you to do whatever it is that is a passion of yours. Not just to remind you that Adam was my inspiration, but not only to remember Adam because he's a good inspiration on this platform and was a good inspiration on this platform because he was a good person inside and out. But for us to do it uniquely ours. Remember that Adam was a great person. He was a beacon of hope and light in this world when we do need it the most. It sucks that he's not here, and we wish he was here to get us through these dark times. I agree 100%. But we have his videos on his main and his second channel, especially his second channel. I pray and I send my condolences and prayers to his family, Jim, June, his mom and dad, his sister Faith, Justin, Tim, and the carpetbagger, these friends that he's been friends with for many, many years. And I want you all to spread love and compassion because that's what I want to do. And as you see the flag behind me, I am a bisexual man, and I know Adam would have not judged anyone whether you are gay, straight, or ever, whatever you were. There are people in this world that miss Adam terribly, and we're not going to stop talking about him for years. We're going to keep mourning him. We're going to still keep remembering all the good times, and I know Adam would have said, "Oh, stop it, I don't want the attention." You know, I know Adam said in a couple of his videos that he talked about death, and he's talked about legacy, and I know that Justin said it perfectly in his video 3 days after Adam died, that he came out that Adam would have been like, "I hate this," but I think it would be fitting. This is not just the video that is following up what I said 2 months ago. I think it's a perfect idea. So, to start off this vlog properly, I encourage you all to join me on these home video vlogs to honor Adam. As he said, "Join me, shall you?" And now, as he famously said, "Thanks for joining me on these videos. The vlog is over." And we all know the vlog is never over. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next vlog.